Right, the longer you complain, the... Right, so first two items, apologies for absence and minutes of the 2016. First of all, apologies. Rob, have we had any? I had G4 PDF this morning. G8 ADM. And G8 ADM. Dave, unfortunately, can't be with us.
G7 MEG.
G7 MEG. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Minutes of the 2016 AGM have been published, the draft ones have been published on the website for the last couple, well actually for the last 3 or 4 months. I won't ask if anybody read them, I'll just say, has anybody got any comments on them, and if not, are you happy for the committee to adopt them as a true record of the meeting? Any comments? Good, right. Accepted. Okay, so that's 2 items done. Right, report by chairman. Unfortunately, this is my opportunity to address you as chairman for the last time, so you're just going to have to suffer. All right. So this this is a very serious matter. So a review of the last couple of years. First of all, committee members, please stand up. Frank, Rob standing, yeah. So hopefully you know these characters. I think we got a couple of absentees. Ian, G8XZD, couldn't be with us, and Dave, G8ADM, couldn't. Thank you very much. Now there is one point I want to note on that list. We had a comment, let's call it a comment, about the fact that Brian tends to use the term as honorary treasurer. Constitution refers to him as treasurer, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not a big issue if Brian wants to call himself the honorary treasurer. If you look at the dictionary definition, there isn't a problem with it. If the members feel there is a problem, we take your feedback after the meeting, but to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, it's not an issue, and if Brian wishes to call himself honorary treasurer, that's fine. So I just want to make that clear, but we had that comment fed back. Membership, look at that. So, Basingstoke Cat 14, you may remember it. We were at about 820, actually...
That's Cat 12.
Cat 12, yes. It actually went down to about 805. And from then on, really, it's climbed. In the last year, we've seen over 100 new members. And I call this last blip very much the Portstone effect. We'll come on to that later, but it really has made a significant difference. And so membership, I don't think there are many hobby clubs and amateur radio clubs who have seen that percentage growth in membership over the last few years. So I think it shows we're doing something right. We got 1,110. At Cat 17, which was last year in Finningley, we had 1,011. And at Cat 16, 2 years ago at Telford, we had 934. It's still about an 80-20% split between UK and the rest of the world. 800 cyber members, 310 paper members. And I'll come on and talk about that a little bit more. Interestingly, because the way we now do the repeater streaming, they are also users in the WordPress database. We can tell you there are 61 repeater channels set up on the new streamer as well, but they're not included in the membership numbers. So let's talk about the new website. Yeah. Those of you who've been to 1 or 2 cats will know that this has been my nemesis, my bugbear, and I honestly didn't think we'd get it fixed, but we have. We've finally got the new website launched. It's got the integrated streamer with Flash and HTML. Migration at end of May, there was a hell of a lot of preparation went into it. You have no idea the amount of preparation that went into it. But we moved 1,100 members' records, and mainly through the work of Rob and Dave GKQ, who actually did the SQL database transfer. We yeah, it went very smoothly. We really didn't have, there may have been 10, 15 people who had a hiccup in their membership record, but it was tremendous considering the amount of data we moved from one type of system to a completely different type of system. It was pretty efficient the way it worked, and a big thanks to Dave and also the contractor Inspire who we took on to do it. We do have one or two bugs to be ironed out. The most famous one at the moment is that if in your generosity, when your membership comes up for renewal, you feel generous and want to upgrade to either a 2-year membership or a paper membership, unfortunately, it doesn't automatically cancel your old membership. So if you've upgraded from a 1-year cyber, and so at the end of the month, you will get an email saying, "Oh, you're no longer a member." We're still working on that one. I think that's affected there again about 15 people, Rob. Yeah, and we manually sort it out. So there are 1 or 2 bugs in there. There's the display username is mandatory bug, which appeared last week. We know exactly what the problem is. Some of you 2 people saw that and reported it. We know how to fix it. Yeah. It's whenever WordPress gets updated automatically, there's a line in the code which is overwritten, which we have to go in and manually tweak. So we're working on a permanent fix for that. We closed down the old server in 2 weeks' time. We're now all hosted on Linode, and we do have a maintenance contract at the core WordPress end with Inspire, our developer. So our online presence looks pretty smart these days. The new site is basically a WordPress site with a couple of plugins and the streamer which has been integrated by Phil. We have tried to limit the amount of custom code because custom code equals support nightmares later on. And believe it or not, it's all pretty much documented on the BATC committee wiki. So we've actually got another wiki that only committee has got access to, where we document all of the processes that we go through. And when we add a repeater channel, that's all documented on there. So anybody can pick it up in the future. So I think we're in a fairly good place. We have got, as I say, 1 or 2 bugs to iron out. We've got a bug list going on a Google Drive, but we're in control and moving forward. The rest of the online presence, I think the amount of traffic we're now getting through the wiki and the forum is pretty tremendous. Phil did an upgrade to DX Spot, ironed out a load of bugs earlier in the year. This doesn't affect 99.9% of the members, but we've got a thing called a GitHub, which is where we do all of the control of any code we're developing. So things like ports down are on there, and they allow for version control and development control. And of course the forum, well, it's really going from strength to strength. Post anything of interest. We've now got 812 registered users on there. It was 591 2 years ago. And it gets pretty busy, and there's a lot of information on there. So I've got one particular slide on it. There's about 5 posts a day on there. Lots of valuable information, but how do you keep up to date with it? And the simple message is use the RSS feed. And this here, if you put it into your favorites, when you click on it, you'll just get a list of the last 20 posts happening on the forum. And so it just gives you the ability to just monitor it. You can also paste that into things like Outlook or an RSS reader, and you can just keep on top of what's going on the forum. And that's how some people manage to buy all of the new bits when they come in the shop, because they know when new bits are released. So that's worth doing. What I'll do, we'll put a post on the forum to remind people so you don't have to copy that URL down. Social media. It's gathering apace as well. Facebook has got our Facebook page has got about 300 members. Twitter, we've got 448 followers compared to 176 last time. and it gets about 15,000 impressions. So people look at the Twitter feed about 15,000 times a month. BATC YouTube channel we've done 22,000 views of that since 2015. So all of the CAP programs are up there now. That's where all of our video content goes. And I personally just use Twitter. I'm not a Facebook person at all, but Twitter I find is manageable. And it's a great way of just saying, going out portable tomorrow, or have been out portable tomorrow, or here's yet another picture of a silver Land Rover. And it just lets people know what's going on. It sort of, effectively communicates what you're doing to a wider audience. So if you do want to put your toe into social media at all, Twitter is probably the one to go for. And get out there and tell the world what you're up to. CQTV, better than ever. Somebody said yesterday, had a great quote, it's better than anything you can see on the shelves in W.H. Smith's. I forget who it was. But the standard of CQTV, primarily down to Frank's efforts, is superb these days.
And to everybody that inputs to it, it's not my doing, it's the input.
Yes. However, it is all about content. And we struggle as a committee. In fact, we're in the struggle phase at the moment. God, what are we going to put in it this time? If you're doing anything, write it up for us. All you need to do is send Frank a scrap of paper with a few notes on it, and he'll turn it into a wonderful article. No, seriously, if you're doing anything interesting, if you're updating your repeater, if you're going out portable, if you've built a new left-handed wind flanger, if you've done anything, if you've gone to the local radio club and given a talk about amateur television, let us know and we will publish it, because it is a bit of a treadmill at times to keep topped up. When you are upgrading your membership, have a think about upgrading to paper. If you've ever touched and felt and had a look at the paper, it really is worth it. And there will come a time when, if we can get that percentage up, that we could afford to print every page in colour. Because to me, that's the only real downside of it at the moment, is that the printed version, not every page is in colour. And that's down to cost. But there are some critical points, and we need about another 100 or so members to go paper, and then we can look at doing something different. But interestingly, it's not so much the print cost is the most difficult. It's the postage cost that starts to kill us. It's a bit of a killer. But anyway, if you do upgrade, think about going for print. And our friends over at CQT DATV, yeah, it's great that they're there. They're doing the ATV community good, but always our stance is pretty much, if you're doing anything that BATC has promoted or is involved in, we would like first grabs on any articles you're writing up. That's our stance. So. Contests. You heard Clive yesterday. We need your input to improve them. So we're looking for feedback, input, any changes you want, let us know. Those activity days that Dave came up with really have driven it. I mean, I think we got to an all-time low when we had 0 entries into the IIU contest in 2015. But, we've now done... Is it true that this time it was more than any other country in Europe? So, that's pretty good. So we are driving the activity, and we need to keep driving the activity. So, yeah. Shop. Shop policy is to make the hard-to-get parts only. As I say to people, we don't mind running the shop, but every time you place an order, I've got to print it off, put the thing in an envelope, stick it, walk down to the post office. So we're not going to stock the bits that you can buy on eBay, because you can buy them off eBay and somebody else will do all of that. But we're more than happy to stock PCBs and bits and pieces. If you think of any projects that we should be stocking PCBs for, let us know. We do make a profit. We're not supposed to, but we somehow can't seem to stop it. But, you know, that money is ploughed back into the club, as you'll see later. 280 unique buyers of Portstown parts. Pretty cool. 500 mini tuner USB units programmed. DTX1, just a note there, we sold over 150 of the DTX1s. I posted the last one last week. So thanks to Antenna, great product for its time, came just at the right time when we needed something to sell into the amateur market, but we're not going to be stocking anymore. So DTX1 is end of life. And the new website allows us to do lots more things with the website. We can do the golf shirts, we can sell old CQTVs, and also the Cat 18 ticket, or were they Cat 17 tickets? Yeah. One of the new things we've launched, which was in the last CQTV, is this thing called the Bursary Fund. And this is where we can put money back into the hobby, you know, to individuals and groups who are going to do projects to benefit the ATV community. And we see it falling into a number of areas. So pump priming for development projects. So if somebody's come up with an idea and he needs to do some PCB design for it, he could apply for a grant towards that. Or if he needs some software tools to develop something, let us know and we would consider it. Repeater groups, we would be happy to fund things such as rebuilds or legal fees. We are not going to get into paying your site rent or your electricity bill or anything like that. But if you've got a capital cost, let us know and we would be prepared to fund it. So if you were thinking of going digital and you needed something like a Portstown, we'd have to work out the mechanics, but we could certainly do something for you in that area. And me. Things like the Assail to ground station at Goonhilly is funded via the Bursary Fund. If you've got any great ideas, let us know. Expeditions. I'm sure some of the countries that Graham was talking about with Assail spring to mind, but don't forget we have to approve this, so don't hold your hopes up too much. One thing though we would seriously consider is outreach, demo kit, ATV equipment for use by radio club members, not ATV club members. Any of this sort of thing that's going to promote ATV. There's an application there's a form online under far right hand banner. Fill it in. It has to be a unanimous approval by the committee. You get funding. We will agree and promise you the money, but you only get the funding when the project or whatever is underway or completed. But we will underwrite that we will give you the funds when you've produced evidence that you've spent the money. We don't just attend to members, we also look out to other organisations. So the RSGB Spectrum Forum, we do a lot of work with those. That's how we get things like 146 megs in the band plan. The 50 megahertz thing at the WRC in 2019 is going to be, we've put a paper into Ofcom and the RSGB supporting the fact that the band should be 4 megs wide. Through the RSGB, we get Ofcom liaison, and that's how we got 71 megahertz. We really are seen both in the rest of the amateur radio community in the UK and also Ofcom as being the big innovators. We are the guys who are doing interesting stuff as far as they're concerned. I sit on the Repeater Management Committee and supporting and promoting repeaters. I also sit on the Microwave Committee, and about once every 3 years we think we can justify going to ham radio in Friedrichshafen to network and liaise with the other ATV communities around Europe and help put on that conference. So, you know, we're working for the amateur or the ATV community at all levels. And we also promote ATV into the wider community, and we need your help to do this as well, because we go to rallies and we go to the RSGB convention and Hamfest. Ragcom, Dave does the Ragcom ATV column. We get articles in there, and, you know, we also talk to radio clubs. But if you guys can do anything, we will support you in all of these activities. You know, I mean, 5.6 gigs is a great example of how a radio club with no ATV connections previously has taken up ATV and got involved and driven it as a club project. You should be taking this to your local radio club and saying, hey, how about this? It's exactly what's happened at Telford. You know, we've got a great story to tell at the moment. So, you know, get out there and tell it, and we will support you to do that. So here's one. Every year we have a cat, and we have committed, there is a commitment that BATC will continue to have a national convention every 2 years to coincide with our BGM. But how about on the other year, i.e. next year, we have several smaller cats which are organised by the regions. So, for instance, in the Northwest, as we've been talking to Brian and others from the Wirral Radio Club about hosting a local event. Up in Yorkshire, there's quite a strong community. They could have a local event. Down in Bristol, the Midlands with Telford, you know, having a local event that's supported by the BATC. They don't have to all be on the same weekend. In fact, it may be preferable if they weren't, but it would help you build your own ATV community in your local area. And, you know, we would support them. We could bring the shop. We can, if you want, you could have our speakers and presenters. You can have a streaming channel. But it takes the emphasis on us having to organise a cat every year. Yes, that's true. But it also gives you the chance to build up your own local ATV community. And my feeling now is that there's some strong enough centres around the country to be able to do that. So have a think about it. If you're in a position to say, yeah, we could do that, you know, contact us and we'll certainly help and support and promote it for you. So just a thought. Maybe all of you decide that, no, that's not a good idea. We want to do a national one. Okay, we'll think again, but that's just an idea for you to take out. Right, one or two more slides. Just an update on repeaters. It's not a BATC responsibility. I think that's an important thing to note. But I am the TV representative on the ETCC. We've currently got 43 licensed units. 8 have been licensed but never put on air. Now, I do know the situation on exactly all of those, and there are 2 or 3 which will never get on air. But there's nothing worse us struggling to get a license and then not being put on air. 3 of them have only had their license a couple of weeks, so we'll let them off. And interestingly, the 3 we've had are all 23 SEMS units. And what's happened is Ofcom have turned around and said, after 4 years waiting for approval from the CAA, we think you're justified in taking it and putting it on air. So Ofcom have issued the NOV for GB3EY and 2 others. So we just got to tread carefully to make sure that we don't upset the primary user, and we should be fine. But there is a message here. Use them or lose them. Ofcom look at the spectrum. There's no doubt, you know. So get on there and use it. And the worst thing we ever did was set up the streaming service, because that gives an Ofcom a window on our world, and all they ever see is test cards. And I do know a couple of years ago that they did look at it. So, a vision for the future, and it's pretty much the one we had 2 years ago. You know, continue to support you guys and now the regional groups. Try to broaden the appeal of the BATTC. we are the transmitting club. It would be great if we did a bit more video work as well. But that's down to the members to drive it that way. Continue to engage with all of our partners, get out there and, drive what we're doing. The talk we had from Charles this morning, it probably went up here, but it's exactly the type of thing we need to initiate thoughts on our behalf, but also to make Charles realise that we're interested in what he can do and to steer him in our direction. Without Charles's input, we wouldn't have had DATV Express, and without DATV Express, we wouldn't have had some of the other projects we've got. So it is important to continue to drive these initiatives. So, thriving and driving the ATV community forward. Yeah, we are much more than a magazine. We do drive the community forward. It's important that we do that. We don't just publish the magazine. As Brian will tell you, we're financially stable, but we do need your input on several things. Contests, Clive asked yesterday. Let's hear that input on what you want to do. CQTV, we need your content. And Cat19, do you think it's a good idea that we roll it out there? So, we can either pause for questions if there's any burning issues, or we can take it to one side and talk about it later. So, any immediate questions on any of that? It's the after lunch shift. Mr. Summers, shall we give you the stick mic?
Would it be easier just to take the stick mic?
Yeah, have you got the stick mic? So there are your topics.
My plans are for it only to last 3 or 4 hours.
The batteries were okay in that, were they? So, there's your slide, all right?
Yeah, thank you. Well, the accounts for 2016-17 and the Treasurer's report were published in CQTV 60, but more detailed information is available on request if anybody is interested. I have the full paper accounts, the spreadsheets in my bag. I can bore you to death with them, but perhaps not. The BATC shop made a significant surplus in 2017. It actually came as a bit of a shock. I had to add it up several times and look for what's gone wrong here. But it moved us from making a loss in the last few years previously to being in this significant surplus state. And we had been gradually running down our reserves as agreed at a previous meeting by using them to support the various activities. But this surplus has given us a great wad of money, which has enabled some of the new products and projects that Noel has outlined. I hope that when we get the new shop up and running fully in the new website, that we'll be able to tinker with the postage charges. The previous shop, there was no flexibility over postage charges, so if somebody bought a printed circuit board, it had to include potential postage costs to Australia.
We've actually already done that on the T-shirt. I don't know if you bought the T-shirt. We'll see that there are different postage rates in there for the 3 areas, and we're going to roll that out across. For the UK, you won't see any change. You may even see a slight decrease in prices.
So that's a work in progress. We're working at that. There are formulas you can put into the postage department of WooCommerce to do it, eventually. I was going to talk about what we were going to use these surplus funds for, but Noel has effectively done it. I'd like to say a word about PayPal. We use this for all the transactions on the inline shop. And what I'd like to say is that this is a secure system. We never actually see your credit card numbers. They go straight to PayPal, and they've invested a very significant amount of effort into making sure it is secure, unlike certain firms who are offering airline tickets recently. No names, no pack drill. The downside is that PayPal is quite expensive to use. It costs approximately 3.5% plus 20p per transaction. it's not until you get into the big league that you can get these commission charges down. We have, it's based on your previous month's turnover, and once or twice we've moved from 3.5% to 3% or even 2.9%, but it does depend, and we're never going to make 1% or 0.5%. But it is secure and it works. Noel mentioned print and postage costs for CQTV. We're very encouraged by the increase in the number of people who are taking the paper subscription, because there is this crossover point where you have the printing costs and the postage costs and the number of members involved, and at some point it moves into a surplus. But at the moment we are somewhat slightly subsidising the paper edition, and we're happy to do that because we feel as a premium publication it's worthwhile having. If we didn't have it, we would be a lesser club. Brexit. I've been worrying about Brexit, well I'm sure we all have, but let's not get into the ins and outs of it. But in a worst case scenario, it's going to be difficult for our European members, because when we buy stuff from the States, it comes in, and if we're unlucky, it's got a little note saying you need to pay £15 handling charge plus customs plus VAT. Well, that's what could happen to our European members. And the same applies if we buy anything from Europe. Something to consider. As I said, our financial security is very good, and we have adequate reserves, which are held in the Teachers Building Society. And a snapshot of the current bank balances are, we have £13,200 in the HSBC, £32,000 in the Teachers Building Society. That's the fund that we would use to maintain our club if everything went badly wrong. And we have almost £6,000 in PayPal. So financially we are very secure, but we are using these funds to the benefit of the ATV community. Are there any questions on the accounts? Back to Noel.
Got off lightly, Brian.
Yes.
This is a dream compared to 4 years ago. Okay, presentation of the BATC awards. This is the fun bit. So, the first, Graham, would you join me on stage? Yeah. Now you can sit down for a minute, Dave. Then you can stand up again. Stage is over here, Graham. Yeah, just, Fix!
Yes, exactly. Noel and Phil.
Good, right.
Okay.
I'm with you now, sir.
So it is your great pleasure to announce the winner of the Grant Dixon Award.
The Grant Dixon Award. It's behind me. Dave Crump.
Oh, me. We got that wrong, apparently.
Why?
Did that work?
Sorry,
Stay
just
there,
take it.
girls.
My camera is playing.
Apparently we need to do it again.
Wasn't us, it was him. Broke the camera.
Broke camera. Can you remember to smile? Thank you so much. Oh dear. Oh dear. Stand by.
Yeah.
Stand by. Just stop shaking.
Oh, come on, Rob.
I'm doing the shaking. Just stay there.
This is supposed to be a short.
Yes, I know.
I think Brian might have had some success then.
It didn't
Well, I got
flash
back in my
automatically because
Here we
it's
go.
automatic.
Do we need a new committee post?
Photographer.
Photographer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry, just doing that, I think we would be remiss if we didn't formally at this BGM sort of make a vote of thanks to the Portsdown team. We've all been talking about it for the weekend. But Dave, Noel and Phil, perhaps as the three preeminent parties who put it all together, particularly Dave, can we just say a big thank you, a round of applause and a vote of thanks.
Okay, moving on. Thank you very much. Moving on, Contest Awards. So Dave, you can stand up again, and Graham, you can stay there. Need the microphone, Dave?
Yes, clearly. Okay, just hang on a minute. I'll just get my act together. Right. Okay, Contest Awards. It's was quite a challenge sorting out all the results from the IARU contest, and thanks to Clive for doing the real hard work on that. I have a certificate here for every winner of every band, and then we'll go on to the awards for the actual BATC awards that we gave to promote activity. In the contest with 28 entries, the winning UK entry was to Rob M0DTS, who's not here today, but we have a certificate for him which we will send on his way. Did really well, every band.
Not next year. Must try harder.
Must try harder, Noel. Right, and another band where Noel must try harder is 146, because I beat him on that one, so I've got my certificate. Thank you very much, Graham. The next band is 70 Sems. Noel must try harder. I got that one as well.
I'm not clapping
Actually,
anymore.
Noel and I went out to two separate portable sites each on each of the days and tried to work each other on every band. So we got a block of points from each other. It's not cheating, it's just working very hard, and it was hard work. So who came higher out of the two of us was what other stations we managed to work. And I think I managed to pull in Charles G4GUO,
yeah,
which Noel couldn't quite reach. Okay, the winner for 23 SEMs was Bob G7AVU. Congratulations to Bob. 13 SEMs, Rob M0DTS again, House on the Hills, yeah, working hard. Right, and finally, somebody who's here. Joint UK winners. Hang on, this is not going well. For the 9 centimetre band,
3.4 gigs.
3.4 gigs, was Wirral ARS. Do we have a representative?
Oh,
Oh, we do.
hey!
It says 13, it should be 9.
Is that Clive's 13 centimetres?
Yeah. hang on, let's get it the right way round. There we go. Yeah, it's almost in shot. Congratulations.
Hold on, Brian.
And the other joint winner was Anthony G4CBW, who again, not here today. Right, 6 centimetres, Rob, that contributed to Rob's winning entry. 3 centimetres, joint winners, Wirral ARS.
Oh.
Back again.
Be more fast. Yeah. Can't go meeting like this. No. Well, nobody's taking your photograph.
They're not bothering. I'd stay near the front, Brian.
24 gigs. UK winner, Noel GHGTZ.
Thank you, Graham.
Congratulations.
No picture, you notice.
No.
And 76 gigs, joint winners, Neil G4LDR, and Noel JGTZ.
Thank you again. I did have a QSO on every band apart from 47 gigs, from 146 up to 76 gigs. So, yeah.
Amazing achievement. Right, I'm just getting the right prizes out. Here we go. Okay, we did offer some awards. An award to encourage activity on 146 megs. I'm not allowed to give it to myself, apparently. An award for the best DX on 5.6 gigs. And that went to G3NWR, the Wirral Amateur Radio Society, and G4CBW. Brian, if you'd like to come up and collect your prize.
Well done, Brian.
£50 Amazon. Good.
Congratulations. That's crazy.
Whoopee!
It worked.
We're not going to publish, we've got it.
The third award we gave was for the Portsdowns system received at the furthest distance on any band. We had a bit of a problem here because I won that. Noel came second. But G4LDR, Neil, came third with a 64 kilometre contact on 24 gigs. This was his first ever ATV contest. He built a Portsdown from scratch and put it on 24 and 76 gigs for the contest. Did really well. So we'll put his voucher in the post.
Excellent. So one more series of awards. As you know, this weekend we've been running a construction competition, and the three judges, in their wisdom, the three wise owls are up here. What we've done is we scored it on a number of attributes and totaled the scores up, and we came out with these winners. So Dave, do you want AED? Would you like to come up and collect your prize? Superb little unit. The forerunner of the Portsdown was called RBTV Mod, and Dave put one of these in a box and has put the Portsdown touchscreen on it. And really, really good, nice unit. And then second,
Hold it in for the photo.
oh, you better hold it for the photo.
Can I suggest you go that way a bit so you're off the screen?
So you're going to get the official photographer job.
But Hannah took a lot of pictures and took it.
Smile. Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, don't lose that. That's what the gift wrap.
And Gareth, G4XAT, we were very impressed with the 3D printing. I don't know if anybody saw the 3D printing stuff he'd done for the aerial moulds.
Oh, there is a photographer take out. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so that concludes the awards. So moving swiftly on, we come to a section entitled BATC President, because there's a change going on here. Graham has decided to retire. So this is actually quite a big moment, because Graham has been on the committee or involved in the committee of BATC for, actually I don't know how long, but for many, many years. And so, you know, I think it's a moment of big change. Dave G8 ADM is going to take over as the new president, but Graham has asked that he can say a few words as a presidential address. But before we do that, we need to just dwell on these photos.
You see now why I got my preemptive strike in. That was actually a Christmas TV show for the Dunstable Downs Radio Club from my house
Yes,
at the time.
courtesy of Arthur G4C.
I'm sure Arthur enjoyed sending you that photograph, yes. And the piece of paper on front of the camera there said, "Look at the lens," or something. "Look at this camera." And we all had dinner. I can't think quite why we thought that was sensible.
The wine glass, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff. So, thank you, Noel. I was appointed by the committee back in 2016, obviously 2 years ago. I said at the time that I would take the post on for a 2-year period. And I follow some really illustrious people, like Peter Blakeborough, G3PYB, Mike Cox, and actually Arthur C. Clarke. And when we were talking about his sale this morning, I was thinking, I wonder what Arthur C. Clarke would make of radio amateurs being involved putting a transponder into geostationary orbit, which is what he described back in Wireless World in 1948 when he visualized a geostationary spacecraft with lots of men, I presume not women, up there changing the valves out as they went pop in the transponder. I was active in ATV actually from school days and was helped by Grant Dixon a lot when I was still at school, and he was teaching at a nearby school, so I bugged him and borrowed cameras from him for Parents' Days and whatever. That's obviously more than 50 years ago. I attended CAT 70, is the first one I remember, at Churchill College in Cambridge. And I realised actually this morning that there are 4 of us here today who were at CAT 70. That's a long while ago. That's 48 years ago. John is sitting there. Henry is there. And Ian, G3KKD, who was here yesterday, was at CAT 70. I think it's just quite amazing. 48 years ago, we did an outside broadcast from a boat on the Cam for the event, which was at the very pucker Churchill College. And we got all set up, and we were a very weak signal into the college, and everybody thought that our PA, sorry, I was going to say PA transistor, how stupid. Our PA valve had blown up, so there was a call went out, has anybody got another QQVO320A that we could slip in and retune? In the end, it turned out a sort of a basic fault. At the receive end at Churchill College, there was a preamplifier using an AF239, which is not a number that will be known to many, but that was the latest thing in preamp transistors. And the wire had fallen off the 9-volt battery. Normal then. So
Nothing's changed, has it?
We panicked unnecessarily. In those days, portable operation on ATV was not permitted, so we had to get special permission from the Home Office, as it was then. And we actually interviewed another radio amateur whose course cannot remember, but he was a Scots guy, and he'd been at John Logie Baird's lecture up in Scotland on television in 1928. Now, that was 48 years before CAT 70. And it's now 48 years since CAT 70. So it's a bit of a sort of, I don't know, watershed or intriguing sort of thing of numbers there. The outside broadcast, had special permission, and I was very pleased that I had Arthur, who was then G8AYB and who is now G4CPE. It was all his kit. And I'm delighted that Arthur is also still active on ATV and still doing lots of exciting new stuff. So if you're watching, Arthur, thank you. I'm not sure when I actually joined the BATC committee, but I stupidly complained to somebody that nobody was organising contests. So, unsurprisingly, I was immediately co-opted onto the committee to be contest organiser. So, when I saw you handing out the certificates, Dave, that rang a bell with me. 30 years ago, in the early 80s, I was lucky enough to be involved with the beginning of ATV repeaters. They go back that far. We had to define the specifications, how wide and what the modulation and maximum power, and we agreed or proposed to use the top, what we now know as the top section of 23 SEMS, the 1300 to 1325 section, which we'd had, I think, since the 50s. Nobody quite knows why. It's only an allocation in this country and I think in Ireland. Doesn't exist anywhere else, probably in the world, certainly not in Europe. And by putting the TV, if you wonder why the TV repeater outputs are out there, it goes back to Noel's comment about using or losing. At least if Ofcom are looking at that part of the spectrum, there are a lot of repeaters, albeit they may be only beaconing most of the time. So we got the specs agreed, and we got the first ones licensed, And then I dealt with all the subsequent renewals and proposals. And after 20 years, my number one achievement actually in that was finding the right guy to hand over the responsibility to. So the success there is
Thank you.
yeah. Around the same time, there was a lot of pressure on 77s from, I have to say, satellite people who said, what are all these wideband signals doing all over the satellite band? And we can't allow that. And there was a definite threat to having ATV still on 77s. And we managed to push back against that and encourage cooperation. And I think, touch wood, there isn't much evidence of mutual antagonism or anything like that. So we are living and cohabiting and using the spectrum again quite well. And working through the IARU, we managed to get that sort of pushback through throughout the whole of Europe, and also managed to get the IARU TV contest set up. It was during that time that I was involved with Trevor Brown and John Wood and others putting together the various ATV handbooks that BATC published back in those days, the little A5 ones with the blue front, I remember. Great times. My parallel interest in satellites, which you've heard much too much of today, but it helped develop the idea of putting the L-band and S-band antennas on Columbus. That actually, the idea was conceived more than 15 years ago, and it was 5 years before the module was finally launched. And after having worked on it for 5 years, we only managed to screw the aerials on about a week before the Columbus module was pushed into the freight part of the shuttle and launched. So that was just in time. So then it was another 5 years, I think, before the ham TV transmitter actually got up there and we were able to use them. So very long-term planning there eventually pays off if you're very, very patient. What a load of fun we've had with the Tim Peake mission, inspiring both not only the children, but the parents and the teachers as well. It's been a remarkable events. And more recently still, as Sail 2, which we've also heard of a lot about this morning, is something else to look forward to in the future with TV in space. So the last 2 years, I believe, have been a period of an extraordinary period for amateur television in general and the BATC in particular. I believe your committee has done amazing work in enhancing what BATC does for its members, but also in developing the specialism at a technical level as well. From the activity days that we've heard of, the contests, the development of RBTV, working with Ofcom and gaining their respect, gaining extra allocations at 146 and another one at 71 megs, supporting the mini-tune boxes, I go on, encouraging all the other developments with the bursary fund, plus, of course, the Portsdown project. And in the background, creating a complete new web presence with enhanced functionality and GDPR compliance. We've not heard about GDPR for a few months, have we? Forgotten all about that.
No.
We did at the time, sir. So I believe that no other group is working so hard and achieving so much. So I close by thanking the committee for the honour of being president for the last 2 years and offer Noel and the whole committee my congratulations for all the efforts that they have put in to make the BATC the preeminent organisation that it is today. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Graham. Said with gravitas. And as Graham leaves us, the committee, it's within the committee's gift to nominate a new president. And in fact, Dave Mann, G8ADM, has been asked and has accepted to be the role of president. And we did manage to find well, actually, Dave sent me this picture. That's him in the 1960s on top of John Tanner's van in the early 1960s. So he started work in 1956, joined BATC in 1958, and his first CQTV was number 36. And he's taken on a number of membership, or a number of roles within the BATC. He's been secretary and membership secretary, and in fact, today he will step down as secretary in order to become president. And if you remember, during that interesting period of BATC, he stepped in and actually became editor of CQTV 240. He actually did that off his own back with no experience whatsoever. We missed, there was one episode missed, and then when it came round to June and we just had to get an episode out or an issue out, Dave volunteered to take the task on. So I think he is a more than worthy president, and I'm sure we will all benefit from having him in that position. So I'd like to congratulate Dave on his position. Okay, so we're almost there. Just the election of the committee members to go. Exciting bit. So just to clarify, the committee can have up to 8 members who can serve up to 2 terms. Then they can be re-elected for more terms. The president is not on the committee officially, although he is on our email reflector and has a voice. And it's within the committee's gift to co-opt the members throughout the year. So where we're at right now is that myself, Ian, G8XZD, who does all the social media, and Rob, G8NXG, membership member, secretary, can continue without re-election. Dave, G8ADM, is retiring. This meeting elects the committee, or the members that we need. Club officers and the roles are confirmed at the subsequent committee meeting at 3:15 this afternoon. The chair can only stand for 3 terms and then has to take 1 term off. So I am standing down as of the end of this meeting as chair, and there will be the subsequent committee meeting shortly. The committee will be electing the new chair and also confirming treasurer and secretary roles. So that's the way the system works. So standing for election this afternoon, and we didn't have any other nominations. We published the note to the call for nominations, and we didn't have any other nominations. We would, if necessary, take nominations from the floor today if there is anybody who wishes to stand. But in the meantime, standing for election or re-election are Brian, and we got your call sign right? Yes. Frank, Clive, Dave, and Phil Crump, M0DMY, has actually been co-opted onto the committee for the last year because we couldn't have done it without him, the website. So they're the guys who are standing for election. Now, what we can do is ask the meeting if they wish to block vote those, or if there's any objections to having 1 vote, we can then do an individual vote for each one of them. So the first question is there any objections to doing I guess we ought to have a proposer to do a block vote on those. So Henry REH, seconded by Terry. Yeah. Have you got that, Rob? Okay. So we just take a show of hands that you're happy to do a block vote. Yeah. Any objections, abstentions, objections? No. Right. Okay. So we're now going to do a block vote for those. Is there anybody else on the floor who wishes to be nominated for committee, or who wishes to nominate somebody? No? Okay. So therefore, the next thing really to do is have a show of hands in favour. Those in favour of block vote these guys back onto the committee, please show. Any abstentions? No abstentions. Any objections? That's the word I was looking for. No. Right. So unanimous vote. So welcome back, guys. Welcome, Phil. You could have got out. Okay, and that's basically it. So thank you all for a great weekend. Have a safe journey, and hopefully we'll see you at a CAT somewhere. The opportunity, of course, is that we could see you at CAT in more than one place next year. So let us have your feedback. Have a safe journey. Great to see you all. Thank you very much. Are you going to do an informal question and answer? Yes. Sorry, I forgot. if you want, we can have a Q&A session if there's any questions. And also, Telford, Heather would like to, Heather from Telford would like to just stand up and say a couple of things about an exciting venture that they're doing.
So, some of you may know we had a... Oh, sorry. Oh, it's all formal. Some of you might know we had a ATV workshop in Telford area month and a half, 2 months ago, and it seemed to go really well, and we got lots and lots of bits of hardware. Dave helped us out with Portsdowns and Noel with mini tuners. So anyway, we thought we'd run it again. John Carris, there he is at the back there. He's offered to give us his place, Eaton Manor, to run it again. So sometime early December, we're thinking the 8th and 9th.
7th is a Saturday, and I believe 8th, the Sunday, is an activity day, which works really well. So you bring your 60 pieces of equipment along on the Saturday.
Too cold.
Yep. We've got a tame hill to get up, and Dave, what's your son's name? Peter, he built 5.6 gig stuff at the last one, and his first QSO was 95 kilometres the next day, so it works. So if anyone wants to come along, it's an open invitation. We don't charge anything for the day. We just ask for some contributions towards food.
Okay, great. So, yeah, it was certainly a good weekend last time, so those of you who go, yeah, enjoy it. Okay. Yeah, is there any other questions and answers you want to bombard the committee with before you depart? Great, okay. Well, have a safe journey home. Let's have your feedback on all those topics, and see you again next year.